Howdy, folks. Welcome back. It's been a while to another episode of the Reseller Niche Podcast. Mo. How's it going, Russ?
It's going good, Mo. How are you? Been a while, hasn't it?
Been too long. Yes, way too long. So we've got a lot to talk about. I'm sitting here in my packed up garage here. So
Yeah. You is that your modified man cave?
not exactly. This is my temporary man cave. I've got my slippers right here. I need slippers.
Yeah. Do you have a backup refrigerator in there?
I do actually. It's all the way on the other side though. It's a mini fridge.
Mini fridge. Well, I just want to announce to everybody, Mo is living in a garage now. His wife kicked him out.
Yep. Down by the
No, that's you're moving. You're in the process of a middle move, aren't you?
Yes. We'll be moving in the next 60 days, 45 to 60 days, somewhere in there. I mean, we've already moved everything out. The question is, when are we going to move in? That's the next part of it.
You sold your home, but you had planned on doing that and looking at a different area of the country to move in, but not too far from where you're at.
About 2 hours away, around Sacramento, so not too far.
Going in California?
Yeah, still in California.
In California, that's like 20 minutes away, or that's like 20 miles, isn't it? 2 hours.
It's probably about 70 to 90 miles, somewhere in there.
Gotcha.
Give or take. I mean, some parts of it are still pretty, like you can get through pretty fast, but then around the Bay Area, that's where the traffic is. So
right.
We're moving away from that a little bit.
Good. And you sold your home, right?
Yeah, that one. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, I've never done. That's my first time doing that, so that was fun. It was interesting. It's fun hearing all the comments that people say, like walking in. I mean, I don't know if I'm sure you've sold multiple homes before, so I'm a little thin-skinned when it comes to that kind of stuff. So in terms of because our realtor would let us know the comments every night. He'd have like a spreadsheet, like, oh, they said this. Oh, they said this. So I'm like, all right, I don't want to hear it. I don't care. So whatever.
It really doesn't matter until the one comment you want to hear is they put an offer in.
Yes. That was it. That's the only one I cared about. Like
that's a good point, Mo. You know, you think about that, like in our business, when you get comments and stuff like that, or if people is selling you something. Say you're at a garage sale, and they say, oh well, I picked that up, and I picked that up over at such and such store. I don't care.
Exactly.
How much can I get? You got $5 on it. How much can I get it down to a quarter?
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh, that my mother-in-law bought me that. I don't care. And then on the same side, when they go to buy something from you, they'll give you comments.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't care. Just buy it. You want to care, but it comes down to that. You don't care about the comments
No, not at all. I think the best garage sale I ever went to, probably about 6-9 months ago. It was in the summertime, I think. And they were just sitting there. They had deck chairs out, and they just had like a couple 6-packs. And then every time somebody would ask them a price, they said, "There's a sticker there. You want a beer?" And I even heard one time they said, "Well, you can buy it or you can't. We just serve the beer." And they were just handing out free beer. That was it. They didn't care about the prices. They just wanted it gone, and they just wanted to sit there.
That's a great example of a true garage sale. Just take it.
Yeah, just I don't care.
So looking at your garage there, where are you going to put your sourcing materials?
I'm hoping for a bigger garage. I mean, we're moving out further so we can have a little bit more space. That's the goal. I tried to throw away as much as possible. You don't know how much stuff you have until you have to get rid of it. And then all of a sudden, it's everywhere. It's like, I mean, where did I get that from? Especially if little kids, they have all these like Happy Meal toys and useless. Like, I don't even know how to, it's not even stuff. It's stuff that goes with the stuff.
Did you
like plastic bags filled with little balls and crap
were you the one? were you the one that recently posted about the storage industry in America? Did you see that post? You may have posted that.
I don't know if I posted. I think I read that though.
Did you see where the storage industry in America is 22 billion a year?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, I've been contributing to that in the last couple months. I mean, it's ridiculous.
So when you think about like when somebody said recently about, well, I was talking to somebody about reselling, and they said, I'd be afraid I couldn't find enough stuff. And I'm like, I'm always afraid I don't have enough room.
Exactly. We have so much stuff there. I mean, I've been to so many storage units. They build them all over the place now. I remember the new storage unit we just went to. I got confused because they built it right next to an older one. So they're like side by side. A brand new public storage next to an old public storage. It's the same company too. So I'm like, there's something wrong here when people are just hoarding mattresses and mini fridges and stuff like that. I mean,
and if I've looked, I tried to catch up. I've looked at like guys like John Resell Rabbit. He started doing storage units.
Yeah,
and the stuff is amazing. People just take what's in their house and store it. And I mean, I did it once like 30 years ago and swore I'd never do, because it's almost like wasted money.
Yes. I think I only kept stuff that would cost more to move than it would cost.
Yeah.
Or stuff that was gifts.
And you were saying too that you even got rid of furniture and
a lot of furniture.
Got rid of it.
Furniture.
That's something that you and I spoke about when I was selling out in Florida. Was like, it's so much easier to move when you just sell everything out.
Yeah.
And you move, and of course, now we're back into a permanent residence. So we're on the opposite end. Now we're having to find everything again.
So you went from full permanent residence to mobile residence to back to full. So you've gone from a lot to a little, a lot again, or soon to be a lot.
Well, we fight it. I'll fight it because the nice thing is I don't have attachments to anything. And as we're building it now, we're just 2 weeks back in Savannah. We went on the road last year, absolutely loved it, and ended up we spent 3 months in the deserts of Texas and New Mexico actually working. And then one day it kind of dawned on us that we really missed home. And what home was to us was Savannah, Georgia.
Nice.
It's where Carol and I met. It's where we have friends here. We have, it's just Savannah's a really neat city. I mean, it's just a jewel among cities. And we sat one day and talked and said, the concept of home to me is strange because I haven't ever had a home area. I've been on the move my whole life.
Okay.
With military, being raised military, and then I spent like 22 years in Missouri, kind of where I grew up, but I've never had, quote, a home, because it was always, and we started really talking about it, and Savannah's home. And we said, hey, we like the road, we really enjoy it, but let's go home.
I think that's good. I think everything kind of cycles out eventually.
If you Carol did question. She did like, well, do you feel like we didn't spend enough time on the road, or is this going to be like something you always want to do? And I'm like, yeah. I said it's always going to be that, living full time on the road was something I always wanted to do. But if you've done it even for a short amount of time, I got that goal off my list.
Yeah. Nice.
So yeah, it was, and it really just gave you a nice sense of freedom. It really was freedom. So I'll take that freedom aspect with this place, and as we rebuild it, or rebuild the necessities of a home, I'll still take that freedom. That if I want this furniture can go. I'm not attached to it.
I think that's good. I mean, because that feeling that, I mean, when you just, you know, you're going to move and you have this stuff and you're like, what do I do with this? I don't want to forget that feeling.
Right.
Because I'm like, okay, I've got a garage full of junk. I still have a garage full of junk, but I mean, I had way more than this. And what do I do with it? Why did I get it? What am I going to do with it? That right there is like, it's paralyzing.
What's the old rule? If you don't use something in 6 months or a year, move it out the door. And we tend to, as resellers, we tend to hold on. We tend to be more attached to our sourced items.
Yeah.
Because we know there's value in it. Yeah. So sometimes that's the tough part to get away from.
Oh yeah. And then because also on top of that, I'm also, because we're moving, so I shut down my office. So I have a week left for that. And I moved out, I want to say 60% of that. But even some of that stuff's got to go too, my eBay stuff. Luckily, I'm not taking any, I'm going to get all new cabinets and all that kind of stuff. That was, those are, I mean, nothing big anyway. Those are like plastic, you piece them together anyway. So it's not a big deal.
Right.
And I found someone basically to just take over the spot, pseudo selling, I guess. But,
that's good to think of too, Mo, because that's something we need to do. Insourcing a lot of times is, example, I'll go to a garage sale, I'll buy 3 things, I spend $15-20. The first thing sells, and I've made $80 on it. So I've quad my money easy on the first thing. Well, I'll tend to hold on to those other 2 items.
Yeah.
Hey, if they sit in inventory, they're not doing me any good. So, get rid of them.
Yeah.
Put them back. I know a lot of people that, like death piles are different, but you got something in inventory that's been sitting for a while, lower the price, move it out. That's what works for me now. And,
yeah, I've been doing that for the last 3 months. I've been having kind of cycled sales. And then you'd be surprised, stuff you think is great, it just doesn't go sometimes. You just got to cut the bomb.
Everything's timing. The right buyer wasn't there at the right time, and you just. But yet, if you made your money back on the lots or an item, we tend to hold on as resellers. I know that's because I have resellers in my family. Oh no, this is going to sell eventually. So it's what is it? It's this and that. Somebody's looking for that. Well, it may take them 3 years to look for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it comes down to those items holding on, purging. Sometimes the best thing that happened to you that can happen for you because it restarts. And that's happened with me. Was I was in the desert, I had to shut down my eBay. You can't ship out in the desert. And when I say out in the desert, we went and worked in the oil fields, and we literally lived out in the desert. And we were at any given time, I think the closest we had a couple we were like 9-10 miles from town, and the town may have had a stoplight and a gas station.
Wow.
But
I saw those pictures.
We were out there, and 10 miles on a road that has nothing on it seems like a long journey. It kind of gives you that when you see nothing. But there were times where we were 40-50 miles from any crossroads, any gas station, anything at all. So there was no way I could ship from the desert. So
makes things interesting.
It really did. I tell you, it opened my eyes up to a lot of things out there. It's like how big Texas and that area is.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just, there was a county above us in one area, and we were in the Permian Basin. There was a county above us that had 600 square miles in the county, and there was 117 residents.
Oh wow.
In the entire county. And I'm like, at that point, I think they have 2 sheriffs, and you know, at that point, there's not enough people in that county to run that county. So,
are you changing your mindset on what you're going to be doing reselling onwards, or?
No, not really. The cool thing is once we got to Savannah, we immediately started sourcing, and
Okay.
we did not. We thought about taking an extended trip and go see you and hit California, but we were so ready to see Savannah, and so we hightailed it back here pretty quickly once we sold our coach, and immediately started sourcing. And excuse me, because we had to find furniture.
Yeah.
And so, you know, being a reseller, being a sourcer, being at Goodwill, being at all the places, we immediately started finding furniture. And we've pretty much furnished the necessities in 2 weeks, and just from resale shops.
Isn't that funny how fast that was? I mean, just like that.
Everything, and garage sales. We went out this weekend to the first weekend. First weekend we got here was St. Patrick's Day, and St. Patrick's Day is all about the parade here in Savannah. Has a huge parade. It's like 5 hours long. So nobody had it. It was on Saturday. So this past Saturday was the first day the garage sales happened, and of course I hit them and sourced everything that I bought is something that I've bought and made money on before.
Okay.
And that's a successful day. If you don't, if you find stuff, this, a camera, boom, a rainbow vacuum, this and that, I found all of those things. But the neatest find was there's a couple colleges here. So college kids kind of come and then they stay for a couple years and then they move out, and rent's a little high in the area. So a lot of younger people room together. And one guy, I hit a garage sale and I said, what you want for that washer and dryer? And I laughed and I said, $40 for the set. And it was a basic washer and dryer set. And he says, no, I'm wanting 50. And I'm like, well, what's wrong with him? He goes, oh, nothing. My roommate left him. So yeah, roommate left him. So I'm like, I'll give you 40. And he kind of, well, I was looking for 50. And I'm like, look, we're only $10 off.
Yeah.
And Mo, they're basically brand new. They were about a year and a half old when they set in his garage for a year. So, and college kids don't really know how to do laundry.
So they don't bother with it half the
time. Right. So it wasn't used that much at all. And so a washer and dryer set to use for $40. I mean, that's nice. What thrifting has provided and does. And we added it up today. We've dining room table. I've done refinishing wood for, so I'll have to do some work on that. Couch, couch, chairs, everything. We've spent $163.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's not your typical college junk furniture. This is, one of them was an Ethan Allen table.
Nice.
Yeah. The couch is a lazy boy couch. I mean, we're talking quality stuff that we find. And but doesn't that kind of allude back to what we were talking about on the storage stuff? People buy good stuff and then they want more good, different guys. They get tired of the couch, so they just give it away.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's out there. I mean,
it is.
There's an abundance of stuff, especially in this country. I mean, there's so much cool stuff.
And you and I have spoke about this before. I don't understand the desire to buy a $300 bobblehead. I don't understand the value of it, but I sure the hell understand that I can make money off of it.
Exactly. I mean, just like the fact that you went out and got all that stuff quickly, you got what you needed, and it's already done in less than $200. That's pretty cool. I mean, it's reselling for personal use, I guess.
Yeah, and if it's there's so much, we've seen so much furniture that if I had space to redo furniture, I'd because everything now is chalk paint, shabby
Yeah.
chic. So the wood furniture, people just walk right by because people don't want to. The prices on that shabby chic stuff are crazy, and there's that's an opportunity. I don't know in other areas of the country what's popular, but here Savannah
No,
right now.
no, it's
Yeah,
funny you say that because the houses we're looking at, because we looked at a lot of houses, and the ones we looked at, a lot of them kind of eventually you start seeing the same, like same structure, the same everything. Like it's the same form. It must be the same construction company. The ones that stand out are the ones where the guy took the time or the gal took the time to, maybe do something with the flooring, and you could tell it wasn't done by somebody. It was done by them doing
right.
something with the cabinetry, like just like staining it or making it look kind of antique old vintage, something like that. Those are the ones that stood out. And it could have even been a smaller house, not as, maybe an older house, but it had a little bit of charm.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the ones that stood out.
Because I'm sure when you and your wife were talking about it, she's like, "Well, I really like the one that had this," and you'd have to go, "Wait a minute, which one was that?" They do. They would all start blending together like
Yeah.
that. So
You have to give the address, but it's easier with the ones. Actually, the one we were looking at is they redid cabinetry, like they have built-in cabinets, and they just did it themselves. And that was it. That's the difference. But it's
cool. That'd be And there's people out there that they make their living doing those type of modifications to homes. Of course, the
yep,
customizations, and when opportunities all about in that. So, we've actually talked about, since we've seen so much wood furniture, is getting a space, a small warehouse space somewhere, and getting a blaster together and just blast the wood furniture and have it, and then that way somebody can paint it themselves.
oh yeah,
Because yeah, and it may be, you ask about sourcing and stuff. You got to adjust to the city you're in, and if that's what we see here, there we go.
oh yeah.
But we've got such eclectic mix of people here that I think any type of source that I want to stay with, I could probably hit.
Yeah, and I think with a city like Savannah, when you probably have a mixture of ages too, so
Yeah.
you're going to see younger people not ever seeing that type of stuff. Maybe if it's even 10 years old, or like furniture that maybe just needs a little bit of work, and maybe just people
Yeah,
just don't know how to do it. So
they'll pay 300 for a chalk painted table that's the same table right next to it, and it's $10
yeah,
because it's not painted. But people, they value or misvalue their time and say, "Oh, I'll just buy that and it's done that way. I don't have to deal with it." A lot of people won't take projects on like that.
yeah, that's IKEA's business model. I mean,
Yeah, IKEA's good point. It's like,
yeah,
and they do kind of well.
yeah, yeah, they did pretty well. I think I've bought a few things from them, but I mean, yeah, that's cool though. I mean, furniture. I've heard of a lot of people doing really well with furniture. People talking about what mid-century modern, and then I don't know if that's even passe. I mean, there might be newer stuff too. I don't know too much about furniture, but
Well, I think in the business we're in, Mo, everything is, you're like right now, the mid-century modern has been hot for quite a few years.
yeah,
Um, Somewhere in this country, because of lag of time or just the change of how people, it doesn't sweep through the country at the exact same time. And
yeah,
so somewhere in this country, somebody's always going to like mid-century modern.
yeah, and it
Somewhere
might
in,
be more of a local thing too, because I know for a fact, like my aunts, they would always go to these auction houses that we had locally, and they
Mhm.
would buy this furniture, and it would be, I mean, it'd be a mixture of stuff. Some would come up from abroad, some would be locally made, some of it would be handcrafted in California, not even too far. And I mean, I doubt the stuff was traveling that. I mean, it traveled a long way to get here, but once it's here, I don't think it. I think it was all within, I don't know, a 20-mile radius. Once it, I mean, as far as being sold.
Right. And then, yeah, I think it'd be harder. Like we could probably, I think with shipping now, of course, you have the shipping expertise. Shipping a chair would be nothing today.
I mean, to be honest, I remember there was this guy that we used to ship for. It was actually another shipping store, and he was just on the other side of the country, or Midwest, kind of in the Wisconsin area. And he would fill up a container, and it would go to, I think I told you, I think it was Israel. And it was like basic stuff, nothing fancy, furniture and like home goods, bigger stuff though. And he would fill up a 40-foot container. The only reason he would use us is because we're on the West Coast, and he would try and do the same thing. We just facilitate moving it and palletizing and boxing. So there's a market everywhere. And then I think,
yeah, you can, and he obviously was making money at it.
Oh yeah, I mean, we were just basically doing what he needed. We weren't even adding to the business. He would send us the business, and then on top of that, that's funny because my mom, she went to Turkey 6 months ago or something like that. They were walking around these stores, and then they were buying tables there. My aunt bought a table in Turkey, and then so my mom asked the shop clerk, like, how much is this going to be for the shipping? And she was charged, I think, $600 or $700 just to ship back the table from Turkey to the port in San Francisco.
Wow.
And that's not including the price of the table. And she said, "Oh, you're crazy. Right. You shouldn't be spending that." But I mean, my aunt, when she sees something, she buys it. But so, I mean, people do it. My point to that is they'll ship it and they'll buy it. They like it.
So, we've always talked about don't be afraid of the big stuff. Mm-hmm. And furniture would be big stuff. I don't think I'd know how to ship a couch, but first of all, I wouldn't.
I've done it. It's not pretty. I mean, I've done a few couches actually. The main thing is just securing it down. Yeah. I mean,
I guess that you'd have to really get into a freight company at that point, right? The LTL.
At the very minimum, you're putting that on a pallet and you're wrapping the heck out of it on that pallet.
Right.
And you're driving it across country. And there's guys literally that just crisscross the country. That's their whole job. They have an 18-wheeler. They fill it up and then they crisscross, and they'll be back. They'll say, "Oh, we'll be in this area in 3 months," and they go from here to Minnesota, then they go back down to Florida,
right?
And they go back up to Pacific Northwest, and they just kind of
just wherever that's dropping off. I've used some freight years and years ago. To when I was consulting, I would move some of my furniture with me, and I just use freight. But but I wouldn't even know that a couch probably doesn't fit in a priority box. So
not unless it's inflatable.
You can stretch one of those. You can stretch one of those padded flat rates pretty good.
Yeah, you can. Well, the funny thing is, I did notice this this is a kid's mattress. Those actually fit, and they have these like inflatable or deflatable, I should say, plastic things around them, and they like put them in these things and they suck the air out of them, just like those clothing things that you compress. So you do that mattresses now.
Put it in a seal meal and shoot it down.
Suck all the air out of it, and they can fit it into like a super thin box. And then they roll it up.
Yeah, but I've seen that where they and make it small like that. So there's learn from that. So they're getting it's been a real good 2 weeks. I mean, it's good to be home and it's good to find a home and to realize where your home is. Kind of a journey. Carol and I spoke. It's kind of the journey of discovery. And
it's interesting that you you probably had a lot of time with your thoughts, kind of just looking out the miles of desert.
Yeah. And of course, the way we worked was, Carol would cover the days, I'd cover the nights, and you're out there, and you had a lot. We had a lot of thought time because we didn't have internet in most places. We did a lot of reading. It was a really good, and I tell you, Mo, what I discovered out there too is how hard some people have to work. to now these guys and these men and women out in the oil field, they can make some really good money. Um, some ungodly money if you think about it, but they work hard and they work some dangerous jobs.
Yeah.
And they work, there was a guy that he was on his 78th straight day.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, he just, they can work that much time, but a lot of them out there were working and kind of building up their bank, and then they were done. I met one guy, he was young, 24, 25 years old, and he hit, I think he said he hit about 250 in the bank. And he goes, I've hit 250 in the bank, I'm out.
Wow.
And he worked quite a few years at it since he was like 18. But, you can set yourself up well out there. But we were on one site, construction site. There's some good, hardworking Americans out there. And
well, that's good to know. I mean,
and when I say Americans, I'm talking about all Americans. We met every nationality or ancestry of people out there, and they're all good, hard workers. Because that's all you do out there is
you just work. You just work and work and work. Go to sleep and then get up and do it again.
That's it. Work and sand and wind. And
it's kind of like reminiscent of pre-electricity days in a sense, because when I was in England, they would talk about the miners being like that, kind of like they work 6 to 7 days. I mean, they'd stop maybe on Sunday morning and go to church, and other than that, that was it. They work and work and work and work, and that's it.
Work and work, and that's a tough. I've never advocated that because you can work too much.
Yeah.
But these guys, but they were working for a goal. And once they hit that goal, they were gone, and on to a different thing. And it was kind of amazing to see and see that there are still good, hardworking areas like that where people, they don't care what's on Facebook. They don't care what's going on in Washington, except they care about the price of oil and gas and
Yep. If we lost Russ there for a second. Let's see here. See if I can get him back real fast. Hold on 1 second. Let me see. All right, let's see if he's coming back. I was kind of interested to hear the rest of that. What's that? Right. All right, was that me or was that Russ? Hey, Russ, was that me or you?
I think I got you.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I dropped out there or you did.
No, I dropped off.
Okay, so you were. I think we were at the part where we were talking about the guys guys and gals in the field.
It was good to see people working hard and getting paid for it and getting paid well for it. And it was also a discovery of adaptability. We went out there. There's a term called Texas tough, and we learned to become Texas tough. We were in sandstorms, dust storms.
Didn't you say it was like 20 degrees at some point?
One night it went down to 7 degrees.
Wow.
And the night before that, it was at 13 degrees, and we lost our generator. Our generator went out. Our rig went down. We had to use a backup, and the backup didn't have a shower, and we used that for 2.5 weeks.
Wow.
Now, it didn't have running water to the shower, and you just, you think, man, what do you do? I can shave in a cup of water now.
Yeah. I mean,
it really taught.
It shows you how much we kind of waste and kind of take for granted, like simple things like water.
It did. It kind of put that into where you learn to adapt and survive. And it was just a great aspect of learning that for myself, because you're aware of some of my physical
Yeah.
disadvantages
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I survived that, so that's a motivation thing for me. Is like, if my back and legs aren't working that great today, I'm still going to go.
Yeah.
And so it toughened me up, toughen me up. And if I can survive that, I can survive anything. And if I can adapt through that, I can adapt through anything.
I
And
mean, to me, it sounds like it's kind of like you. It's going through multiple levels. It wasn't just like physical; it's psychological in a sense. Not that you were like in danger or anything, but I mean, the point was that you have to kind of entertain yourself. Maybe I'm not sure how else to put it, but in a sense that, like, we're so used to being inundated with technology and people. Like, I can walk out and see 1,000 people. When you walk out, you see nothing. I mean,
yeah, and we literally, when we came out of the field and went into a um, populated area, I I I had to, not, what do they call it? Not decompress. I had to recompress, not decompress. I had to recompress
recompress.
because, like,
Nice.
all of a sudden people being around. And then it
Yeah.
was funny. Then it was funny as I moved eastward. Um, then like we stopped in Fort Worth and we went to a restaurant. Those people weren't in oil field garb,
Okay.
because everybody wears, the outfits. I mean, the
Yeah.
safety
Yeah.
clothes and everything. And I kind of looked around like, where's everybody's oil field garb?
Got
Clothes.
used to it.
And you have to kind of recompress. But it did. It gave you it was a great journey of discovery. And I think that's maybe that's what we were looking for. We were looking to discover things. I wanted to discover the U.S., and I kind of ended up discovering myself, maybe.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, it's funny that that you did this that way, because there's literally, like, I mean, it's not exactly the same, but there's literally like retreats and things that people pay like thousands of dollars for. Like, okay, I'm gonna be 3 days of silence, and you sit in a teepee or something like that, or I mean, you know, uh, that kind of stuff. And people are paying other people to provide a square space for them to stand or sit
yeah.
for silence, and that's it. But you did the real thing. So, let me see. Did we lose you again? Oops. Hold on one sec. All right, I think Russ is back. I can see something. You there? Nope. Maybe not. I hear something. Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
All right, cool.
Cool.
All right.
So,
I think what we'll do is, why don't we call it a night for now? I want to hear more about this stuff, but we'll catch up. We'll go into more detail about other things. And for now, though, I think what we'll say is thanks for tuning in to the Reseller Niche podcast. This is kind of an impromptu catching up with Russ and Mo. And if you want to catch up with some of our episodes, the other ones we've done, you can find us on YouTube and in our Facebook group. But other than that, for myself and Russ, we will see you next time. Have a good one.